Hey crafty friends, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a really awesome day. My project today is actually for Reverse Confetti's Stock Your Stash Challenge, and I decided I would make a video to go with that. So I'm going to be using the new Easter cover panel die, and so here are all the components for that die. I'm just going to be using the flowers, the sentiment, and the frame for my project today. So I'm going to start with a piece of white cardstock, and we're going to do some stenciling in some spring colors so we can have the flowers and the sentiment kind of be the focal point. So I am using Pinkfresh Studios Layered Sunburst stencil. This has 3 different layers, and I just love the stencil. I think it's so pretty, and I don't use it enough, partly because I didn't have it with the rest of my stencils and totally forgot I needed to use it. So I am also using Simon Says Stamps Pawsitively Saturated Inks because I just am in love with them, you guys. They're so awesome. So I started with Lemonade, then I did Celery. I will be doing TIDEPOOL, Cheeky, and then Peachy. And so I kind of made little quadrants since I've got these 5 colors. I wanted to be able to have 5 colors all the way around. And I'm using the the large blender brush to blend this in, and I don't mind that it kind of blends over like there, that the TIDEPOOL and the Cheeky kind of overlapped each other. I don't mind that. If you don't like that, maybe just bring in some low tack tape to tape that off, and then you can have nice clean lines. But I didn't mind the overlap. I kind of wanted that, so it just felt like it really flowed into each color. Here is the second stencil, and these are labeled 1, 2, and 3 at the top. And then I'm coming back in now, and with the second stencil, I'm going to go a little bit darker. So the first time I was really light-handed with the blending, and this time I'm going to go a little bit heavy-handed. And then the third stencil, I'll go even heavier. So you're going to have 3 different darknesses of the color. Now you could do this with different colors of ink, so especially the Pawsitively Saturated Inks has 3 inks in each of their little color families, I'm gonna say. So you could start with the lightest, medium, and then dark, but I just wanted to keep it in this color because I didn't want to go super dark on the background. I wanted the whole thing to feel light and Easter-like and spring-like. Okay, so now I'm going to lift that up. I also wanted to say I am using Pixie spray to hold this down because there's so many of those little lines. I don't want that sliding around. Now I'm going to go really heavy-handed here, and I'm going to overlap, like some of the yellow is going to go into the green, some of the green into the turquoise, and so on. Again, that's what I'm looking for, but if you don't want that, you could definitely try masking off with some tape. Here is the TIDEPOOL ink. Then I'm going to be using Cheeky after that, and then Peachy. And I'm just in love with these colors. I think they are so pretty. But like I said, I'm very heavy-handed on this. I even come back a little bit and add a little bit more with that yellow. I'm going to come back and add more with the Cheeky in just a second, but I'm going to do the Peachy right here. So it's a nice little orange color. And then when I peel that up, we have this great background. I'm so in love with this, and that's so pretty. Okay, so now we are going to color the little flowers. So at the beginning I showed you the die, and I was going to be using the flowers. I'm using the same colors to color these flowers. I die cut these, so I'm going to have 5 flowers. It has the large flower, the small flower, and the center. I'm going to ink up 2 yellow flowers, then a TIDEPOOL, a Peachy, and a Cheeky. And so for the Celery, that's going to be for the centers of the flower. So I'm just dabbing my brush onto the flowers, and I'm using the Waffle Flowers mini stencil mat, which is really fantastic. Your paper doesn't really slide around too much, and it's really easy to ink blend. So here are those centers. Again, I'm going to be using Celery for that, and I'm just kind of dabbing instead of turning and brushing. I'm just dabbing the color on. Okay, now I wanted to do some splatters on the background. So I am coming in, I'm going to use all of the colors except for Lemonade, and I just pressed that down on my work surface. I used my distress sprayer and sprayed a little bit of water because, again, this ink is water reactive, and just dipping my tiny paintbrush into it and just getting these splatters all over the background. I'm so glad I did this because it feels like a decorative speckled egg for Easter. So I am in love with these colors for the background. Really, really super pretty. Once they dry, it's just, I don't know, it's just a ton of fun. So I'm just going to finish with this last color, TIDEPOOL. And isn't that so, so pretty? I didn't use yellow because you're not going to see yellow. Okay, so now I'm just going to glue these little flowers together real quick. I'm adding the smaller ones to the larger ones and offsetting them so it feels like a very full flower. And then I'm going to add those little centers, and I'm just using my crystal katana to put that in place with a little bit of liquid glue. Okay, so for the Happy Easter sentiment, I'm going to die cut that from mirror cardstock twice and then from black cardstock once. I want to have a little shadow behind it. I think that will help it kind of pop off that fun stenciled background. So I'm going to glue these together. I again die cut 2 of the gold mirror. You could even do more than that, but I wanted this to have some dimension. I tend to lean towards 3 layers of cardstock for dimension for the most part. If I really want it to stand up, it's going to be 4 or 5 layers. But on average, most of the time, I'm going to be doing 3 layers. So I have the 2 pieces of gold mirror together, and then I'm just going to offset the black cardstock behind it just a little bit, again, to give it a little bit of a shadow behind. You could also do white, but I did not feel like white would stand out great on this background. I felt like it would get lost. I'm trimming down my card panel about 1/4 of an inch on all sides. I'm going to center the sentiment right in the middle, a little bit of liquid glue, holds that in place, and then I'm going to add the flowers around the sentiment. This really is a super simple card, and I feel like you could actually probably make these really, really quick. I'm going to pop a few of these up with foam tape, and then the other ones are just glued directly to the card panel. I like a little bit of dimension, of course. I'm letting them overlap the sentiment a little bit, and then adhering the last flower down. I do want to come in with some gold foil confetti from Studio Katia, and I just originally decided I was going to add these just kind of around the flowers, and then I thought I'm going to add them to the centers of the flowers. So I really didn't need to add the other centers, but you could do it that way. I'm glad I added the gold because it just gave it more of a pop, which I really, really liked. So that's what I'm going to do here, just adhering those down. I was checking it out to see if I actually really liked it, and I think they really, I don't know, it just really stood out against these flowers, and I felt like I could see the flowers better. So I'm just going to glue those down. Now I'm taking that frame from the Easter cover panel die, and I love a good scalloped frame. This is an A2 size, so this is perfect. I'm die cutting that from white cardstock. Then I'm going to adhere that center panel that we did all of the, that has all the goodies on it, right in the center. So you're gonna be able to see the scallops behind it, and just a little bit of that white totally makes this pop. I love how this looks. Then I'm going to adhere this to a white A2 size card base. And then this card is completely finished. Isn't this just so lovely? I love how it turned out. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and then click all so you don't miss a video. Definitely comment. I love chatting with you. Share, and definitely thumbs up if you like it. I very much appreciate it, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.